I've known Dick, I've played golf with him the last 37 years on Sunday afternoon, and I'd known him before we started the foursome back 37 years ago. So I met him at the real estate office when he first came down here and went into the real estate business as a contractor to do work at different properties that he managed, is how we started our relationship. Doug Wendell was our first city manager, and he put together a foursome of myself, Harry Thomas, and Larry Liggins. And then Dick would always fill in if one of us was out of town or sick or whatever. Dick was the fifth man. And when Doug Wendell took the job as county administrator, he later got hired to go to Washington as AA to Congressman John Generette. So he moved to D.C. and Dick came on full time. So Doug Wendell actually started the foursome, and then we just kept it going all these years. And it was our rule to be at Eagle Nest on Sunday afternoon at 1 o'clock or you got fined, and unless you were in the hospital or had a doctor's excuse. And we've been going ever since. As far as Dick being a golfer, back in the day, he was as good an amateur golfer as most anybody on the beach. I could arguably say he's one of the best amateur putters that I've ever seen on a golf course. Man could putt the eyes out of it, but of course years and you know take a toll on anybody. But one time in Columbia, he had that old Cadillac up there. This was back when he served in the House of Representatives, and he had a habit when he went out to go eat at night in this Cadillac he had, he'd park right on the street and never take the keys out, go in and eat. And I told him it was a bad habit, but he won't listen. And he came out one night and the car was gone. And there went his golf bag, the putter that he loved so dearly. And they finally found the car a few days later, but everything was stripped out of it and the golf clubs were gone. So that was sort of a sad thing, but he was still very competitive on the golf course, and I would say he was probably a 5-6 handicap player, maybe even better at times. Well, he built Eagle Nest, of course, and he and Mr. Roy Davis, and I don't think he had an unfair advantage because we'd played it about as much as he had. He knew every crook and every turn on the golf course, and if it was an advantage, he was going to leave it like that. He was a good golfer. He got threatened a few times on a no-show deal, and one time we had papers served on either Dick or Harry Thomas for not showing up. We got the magistrate to fix up some papers and had them served on them. But we've played all over the world. We've played golf in Ireland. I've played with him in Canada, played with him in Nova Scotia, Bar Harbor, Maine, all over Florida, even out in Scottsdale, Arizona, we played golf. One time we were out in Scottsdale playing these desert courses, and Larry and Harry and myself at the turn after 9 holes, we went up to the snack bar and got us something to drink and a sandwich real quick, and Dick stayed down there in the cart. He had had a long night, and he just kind of laid down in the seat of the golf cart, and we came back down. He was sound asleep, laying across that golf cart. And I woke him up and I said, "Let's go, Pooh Man." He reared up. He said, "You have awakened a golfing demon." I said, "Well, let's go, demon." We went back out there, and I'm sure he beat us, but we woke up a golfing demon.
Dick and family.
I really think that Dick and Ann were made for each other in a way. They both complement each other in their lifestyles and what they do. Ann's a people lover, and she's an on-the-go person. she likes to have 3 or 4 things to do every day, and she even likes for some of them to be at the same time, so she'll have to hurry. But they're remarkable people, and their relationship, I think, is just, they just love each other to death, and that's very obvious. And they've got a great family, 2 sons and a daughter, and they've done a great job with the family. We were down in Florida on a golf trip, and at this particular time, Harry Thomas was driving the golf cart, which was most unusual. And since that time, he's been outlawed from driving a golf cart for good reasons. But nevertheless, we were on about the 3rd or 4th hole, and Dick got out to hit his 2nd shot, and he did, and Harry drove off. And Larry and I were just sitting there, and Harry kept going, and I said, well, where's he going? And Dick said, I don't know. I said, well, I think he left you. And when Harry got up to the green, he looked around for Dick. He couldn't find him, of course. He'd left him back in the fairway. I said, well, you jump on the back of our cart. We'll take you up there. And, of course, Harry turned around to go back and get him, and we met him and got him hooked back up. But we got a big laugh out of Harry driving off and leaving Dick. He just forgot him. That's what happened. But since then, he hadn't been allowed to drive anymore. I'm telling you, we've had an awful lot of incidences on the golf course. It's almost a legend. Well, we always just mostly had a good time on the golf course, and we left all that politics and stuff, business stuff and work stuff at home, pretty much. Very seldom, unless something really big was going on that we asked him about, or something unusual. We didn't do much of that. Well, I would have to say, if there's ever been a true living legend, that would be Senator Dick Elliott. His contribution to this community is large. I'm convinced that we wouldn't even have the hospital out here yet if it hadn't been for his efforts and push and all the things that he did to help us get Seacoast Hospital built here. And just the people that I know that most people don't know about, including myself, that he has helped over the years is amazing. His epitome of the old saying, help the needy, not the greedy, well, that's Senator Dick Elliott. He not only talks the talk, but he walks the walk when it comes to his fellow man. I don't know a public servant in my lifetime that's given any better constituency service than Senator Dick Elliott, even when he was in the House, or even when he served on the county council, or when he served on the city council at North Myrtle Beach, or Ocean Drive City Council. He's always been a great public servant and responded to people's needs. If they called him or got in touch with him, he responded. I know. I've seen him do it, and have always admired that in him. His compassion and genuine concern for his fellow man is real in his life. And he had the full support of Ann and his family and all that he did. And that was a big help to him, I know. Well, I didn't want to chide him too much. You know, you roast people sometime in these things, but he's got a couple of faults that he needs to clean up and cure up. One of them is this Clemson Tiger thing. He's very misguided about that. He will pull for the Gamecocks when they don't play Clemson, and I understand that, but he's still on the wrong side of the fence, and I was in hopes he would grow out of that. I don't know that he will. And you know, he's always run as a Democrat, so he's in there with this crowd that's in Washington now, I guess, the Obama clan, or cult. I call them a cult. That's pretty misguided, in my opinion. But maybe he'll get those things straightened out in due time. Other than that, he's a pretty great guy. Had a great friendship for about 50 years.